Top of the day, beautiful people. Y'all won't believe what I did. I ain't did this in a long time. Not since I first started the live stream on StreamYard. How about I thought I started a few minutes ago, like on time, right? Steady talking, open up the book, getting ready to start to read, like I'm going through everything, saying hey to a couple people that was here, all that good stuff, right? Then I realized someone said, look at your live button. I looked at the live button. I'm like, so it looked like I'm late today, but I was really on time. I forgot to hit the live button, right? And look, nobody in the comments said just yet. Y'all probably just thought I was running a little bit late, but I was actually here already talking to y'all, but y'all just couldn't see me because I hadn't hit the live button. So when I realized that, I hit the live button. So let's go through this whole spiel again. Happy Tuesday, beautiful people. It is May the 30th, 2023, day 44 of year 5 of reading through books, laws, and prophets. Another 5-year consecutive day count, it is day 1423. Today, we're going to read the first chapter in the Lord's first book, the Lord's fifth book, which is on page 122 to 124 of Owaspy, Big Blue. And then we're going to hop on over to the book of Noah in the Secret Nazarite Scroll, official name, Holy Megillah. And that begins on page 253. And we're just going to keep reading until we run out of time today. We got to stay within our hour mark today. All right, y'all. So with that being said, Father, we thank you for time, that you created time within the infinite realm. Because some things shouldn't be forever. I'm glad we run out of time in some things. All right, so with that being said, beautiful people, let's get started. Mom, shalom, shalom. Nazarene is seen, grand rising. Avia, shalom, says Auntie Belinda Brown. Hey girl, hey Levon, blessings. Eternal learner, shalom. At the beginning of the day, they got to start. You was about to text me. Yeah, it had been a few more minutes. Some just said, like, listen, now I got the inkling to check the live button a couple times while I was talking, but I ignored it. Clearly, my stars, my line of light, like this girl, sometimes she just really don't pay attention sometimes. But I felt that I should check, but I'm like, I'm good. So, but I finally, with the nudging, check your live button. Like I could hear it, check your live button. And I'm like, oh my God. So I be hearing, sometimes I do be ignoring. So forgive me. I'm sorry, y'all. All right. Tabitha, shalom, sis. Happy born day, Levon. Everybody say happy born day to Levon. Happy born day, sis. Brian Job, shalom, shalom. All right, y'all. Let's get started. All right. Page 122 at the bottom, the Lord's fifth book. Being contemporaneous with the book of Osiris, son of Jehovah, as Osiris is of the higher heavens, so is the Lord's book of the lower heavens and of the earth for the same period of time. Chapter 1. And under chapter 1, it says of Hindu scriptures. God apportioned certain of the earth for the tribes of Shem of the ark of Nochi, a heavenly place, seat of mountains and lords, all wise, and from his wisdom directed Hertu into his pastures. Hertu, son of Neph, born of an egg, descended out of the highest heaven. He was a most gracious Lord, and in deference to Om, smote against the rocks of heaven. So when the egg was broken, one half of the shell ascended, the other half became the foundation of the world. I'm gonna keep reading. I remember this from the first time. I'm still like, what, the egg? Maybe I'm not understanding what the egg is, or the analogy of it. I just read it again. Hertu, son of Neph, born of an egg, descended out of the highest heaven. He was a most gracious Lord, and in deference to Om, smote against the rocks of heaven. So when the egg was broken, one half of the shell ascended, the other half became the foundation of the world. The evil voice, Satan, spake to the children of men and polluted them, whereupon the great spirit spoke in the firmament of heaven, saying, to Hertu, son of Neph, I bequeath the tribes of Shem forever, for they have withstood and Remaeus, my everlasting enemy. So Hertu became Lord of Shem, and he banished Aramaeus down under the earth, where he busied himself building fires for the furnaces of hell, whereof the smoke and flames come up through the earth and are called Agni, volcanoes, that his existence might be known to men. Interesting. I like this. I'll read it again. Verse 3. The evil voice, Satan, spake to the children of men and polluted them, whereupon the great spirit spoke in the firmament of heaven, saying, to her too, son of Neph, I bequeath the tribes of Shem forever, for they have withstood Amrameus, my everlasting enemy. So Hertu became Lord of Shem, and he banished Amrameus down under the earth, where he busied himself building fires for the furnaces of hell, whereof the smoke and flames come up through the earth and are called Agni, volcanoes, that his existence might be known to men. Thus came evil from good, but the everlasting wisdom should prevail with mortals and spirits of heaven. All light created this varish law or natural law as a creator to abide forever. Before this time, there were two things in the world. Voidness was one, and vachis, vachis, vachis was the other. Vachis, vach, or speech, spoke, and the world was. So it came to pass that voidness was divided into two parts, the seen and the unseen worlds. The unseen spake in the wind three sounds, E, O, E, and it was called by mortals Eolin, God of the wind. So Eolin showed himself in three colors: yellow, which is the highest color, blue, which is the coldest color, and red, which is the warmest color. Eolin said, out of my three sounds are all sounds made. Out of my three colors are all colors made. He was the all master. He said, three worlds have I made: the earth world, which is for mortals, the all high heavens, which is for pure and wise angels, and the intermediate world, which resteth on the earth. Eolin said, three lights have I created: the sun to rule the day, the moon to rule the night, and the burning fire for the use of man. Three spirit lights created I: Ruach, which issueth out of my soul; Shem, which cometh from my lords in heaven to the souls of men; and Vas, V-A-S, which cometh from the spirits of the intermediate world. Eolin said, three states am I in: Ghost, which is ever present and unchangeable; Corpore, which is in places like the earth and stars and sun and moon; and Motion, which is everlasting unrest. So am I, Eolin, mightiest in all three, in all places and all time. When the egg was broken and the shell distributed, lo and behold, the seamoot of the egg had nowhere to rest, and being void of compact, distributed into the void, and being void of compact, distributed in the void world. Okay, let me read it again. Verse 11. When the egg was broken and the shell distributed, lo and behold, the seamoot of the egg had nowhere to rest, and being void of compact, distributed in the void world, and was not seen. Then Hertu, high lord of the upper heavens, sent whirlwinds abroad, and they gathered of the substance of the egg and rained it down on the earth. Uz, son of Eolin, ran quickly and turned Amrameus fires to the north, and Eolin touched the earth with his quickening hand, and straightway all the living were created. So Eolin said, thou, my firstborn son, it shall be thine to keep forever, neither shall there be any other God. But it came to pass in the course of time, the evil voice, Satan, encompassed the earth about with serpents that spake like men and angels, and the serpents made friends with all evil, father of Aramaeus, and the women of the tribes of Asu went and tempted the first men, the Ehings, whereby there was born into the world evil offspring. Hereto, Lord of the earth, drove the first men out of the region of light and set highborn angels on the boundaries of Chinvat at the gates of the upper heaven to guard the tribes of Faithis ever after. Nevertheless, evil being set on foot soon overspread the earth. So Hertu rested his hands on his thighs and swore an oath unto all light that he would drown the world and all the living. And in answer to the Lord, a seraphim, a mighty fire ship came down out of the sun region, opening the floodgate of heaven with a sea of water, and all people perished, save the Ehings, the sacred people, friends of the Lord of earth. Okay. So I think it went back a little bit in this particular telling of the, hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna keep on reading. Okay, so according to the earthly account, while this was happening, this is actually, at least from what I understand, from all the way back a few books with the sinking of Pan. So there are a lot of stories told in different regions about the flood account. It differs every place you go. But remember, this is the earthly account where different things were happening in the heavenly realms. So let me just go back. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna go back to verse 14. But it came to pass in the course of time, the evil voice, Satan, encompassed the earth about with serpents that spake like men and angels, and the serpents made friends with all evil. Jeremiah. And this, hold on. But it came to pass in course of time, the evil voice, Satan, encompassed the earth about with serpents that spake like men and angels, and the serpents made friends with all evil. Father of Aramaeus, and the woman of the tribes of Vasu went and tempted the first men, the Ehings, whereby there was born into the world evil offspring.
I made around $300 over the weekend.
Oh, very good. Did you go out the house early this morning? Because I kept seeing on the camera a body was being detected, but I couldn't see it. And the light in your car came on, but I didn't hear the doors open. Yeah. So, but on the camera, I don't see a body. But all through a few hours, the light in your car is on. So, yeah, be careful. Walk out. I didn't open up the door. I didn't see a body, and I watched it for a while. I didn't see any movement, but I was thinking it was the wind because it was blowing hard. But your light, either you left it on last night because there's a block of time that's missing from the cameras, which seems a little sus to me. Look out the window first. Yeah, go look. I didn't see your doors open, and I zoomed all the way in to look into your car.
We're dealing with Casper. We're dealing with Casper.
Okay. Just me, shalom, shalom. I didn't. Oh, you're welcome, son. Yeah, no. When did you look at it? Later on in the day?
Yeah, like after I got gas and stuff. When I after doing the first delivery, I looked at it, I was like, oh
yeah. But yeah, check that. Look out the door first. I mean, I didn't see any shenanigans. I think it was just the wind, and you probably just left your light on when you got out last night. Tabitha said that today is a holiday here in Trinidad. It is called Indian Arrival Day. Today, our East Indian brethren celebrate their arrival as indentured servants to the Caribbean shores. Interesting. Dawn, what's good, sis? Audrey, shalom, shalom. Vishnu is the second deity in the Hindu Trinity. True. Okay. Oh, okay. You know what? When I read your comment right here, Bronjo, it makes sense. Okay, so this is the account. It just clicked, and it literally tells us right here before we started this chapter of Hindu scriptures. So this is the account from the Hindu scriptures of what happened during the sinking. Okay, go ahead, son.
Shekinah is interesting in the whole thing because it's kind of drop fed it all.
You drop fed what to her?
The planet, the moon, the sun, Christianity, what happens after you die, what are demons, what are angels, everything.
Very good. So you just sprinkle it upon her.
Yeah.
And now she's interested.
A bunch of questions. Oh my God. She is not.
Answer them with what you know.
But at the same time, she is slowly getting yoked from that.
Very good. His lady friend, Shekinah. Okay, let's go back. Okay, clearly, this is the account of what they read from the Hindu scriptures of what happened during the flood time. Okay. All right. Verse 15. Her too, Lord of the earth, drove the first man out of the region of light and set highborn angels on the boundaries of Chinvat at the gates of the upper heaven to guard the tribes of Faithis ever after. Nevertheless, evil being set on foot soon overspread the earth. So her too rested his hands on his thighs and swore an oath unto all light that he would drown the world and all the living. And in answer to the Lord, a seraphim, a mighty And in answer to the Lord, a seraphim, a mighty fire ship came down out of the sun region, opening the floodgate of heaven with a sea of water, and all the people perished, save the Ehings, a sacred people, friends of the Lord of earth. So the Lord took the hollow of his hand and lifted up his people and gave them dove's wings, and they flew afar and came to the land where dwelleth the Lord. So it was called Shem, as a proof to all the world. In those days, God was near mortals, so that when an honest man spoke, the Lord answered him. And Aramaeus was near also. And when an evil man spake, an evil voice answered him. For that reason, the Lord singled out the purest and most virtuous of women, the wisest, strongest, and most faithful best men, and married them, giving two women shenanigans. Listen, this is the Hindu scripture portion. Hold on, let me go back.
And I talked to her about the diet thing as well. Even when it comes to me, she looked like she would definitely change how she eats, just because some concerning, just future developments and children problems. She doesn't look like that.
Well, very, very good, son. Okay.
She's basically an open-minded black girl.
Is she open-minded because she like you?
More than likely. But I mean,
you better make sure she ain't changing just so she can get up under you. I'm just saying. I'm still feeling her. It's been like a month or two. Okay. So she's been really showing herself. If anything left happens. If she can hold that for a solid year, and you see changes developing over the years outside of you, then that's worth. I'll say that's worth observing. Okay, let me get back. Look, hold on. Okay, verse 16. So the Lord took the hollow of his hand and lifted up his people and gave them dove's wings, and they flew afar and came to the land where dwelleth the Lord. So it was called Shem, as a proof to all the world. In those days, God was near mortals, so that when an honest man spake, the Lord answered him. And Aramaeus was near also. And when an evil man spake, an evil voice answered him. For that reason, the Lord singled out the purest and most virtuous of women, the wisest, strongest, and most faithful best men, and married them, giving two women to one man according to law. And the heirs of the wisest and most virtuous of men and women were wiser than their parents. And the Lord gave this secret to his people in the house of God, and they gave knowledge to the chosen people. Her too said, for this reason, O my beloved, shall ye not wed with the droops, the dark people that burrow in the ground, lest your seed be polluted and your heirs go down to hell with Aramaeus. But Aramaeus, evil creator of evil, went to the droop women, speaking to them in a dark corner. He said, ye have the root of Babel to make delirious, Fetch it to the white people that came with dove's wings. Fetch, and they would eat and get drunk. Yep, I'm almost done. It's telling me to switch. Huh?
You got like a multivitamin?
Yeah, the liquid ones here in the refrigerator. Gotta take a shot of it.
Yeah.
I'm almost through my bottle too. I gotta order some more.
This is stuff that Nani got?
Yep. Yeah. That stuff ain't nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me show y'all what it is. This I don't sell it. I ain't getting paid for doing this, but all good things I share with y'all. Let me see this. This liquid multivitamin right there in the door. Miss Ruth, now, right there in the door, right there, down at the bottom, big bottle. No, not that. That's the bottle.
Which one? Oh. I didn't know that.
Miss Mary Ruth. No, seriously, it's called Mary Ruth's Liquid Morning Vitamin. It's vegan, it's dairy free, gluten free, sugar free, family friendly, right? And it tastes for real. It tastes to me like a liquid Flintstone vitamin. That's what it tastes like to me. I think everybody probably had Flintstone vitamins. That's like the closest thing, but it's in a liquid form.
Now, let me give you the actual truth. This is a drink. Well, not a drink. This is a multivitamin that will have you like, ugh, when you first take a shot of it. Don't listen to her. I'm going to tell you the truth.
See,
she's going to sugarcoat it.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I just told y'all what it tastes like. Y'all know how powdery the Flintstone vitamins are, right? But it's thicker and it's in liquid form. That's what it tastes. That's the closest thing it tastes like to me. There is this one liquid shot of stuff I used to take years ago. I forgot the name of it. My mama knows, but it's close to that. But many people may not have tasted that before. So the closest thing that everybody probably know what tastes like is a Flintstone vitamin, but in liquid form. All right, pour it in here so they can see the consistency of it. Pour it.
Drop it on the book.
Go ahead. I'll hold it. Lift it up so they can see like the thickness. See that? It's probably like thick, like
Don't stop.
To the top of the trees. Well, right, stop. So like the thickness is probably like the consistency. It is probably be like gross. You know how like the thickness of maybe like if you pour buttermilk or something, not like buttermilk, but it's probably like a little thick like that. Probably not as thick, but
yeah, about
it ain't nothing but the truth. Cream. Like you can feel, at least I did, and a few family members that I know that take it, you can literally feel it almost immediately. It's a really good multivitamin. It really is. So I know sometimes I lack iron, some different things, and I know this is crazy, but I learned this about myself when I was pregnant. If I get the craving to smoke, and I ain't never smoked cigarettes, right? But if I get the craving to smoke cigarettes, or when I was pregnant with Elijah, my first child, who was Elijah 27 now, 26? 27. I used to crave, look, I was a teenager. I was 17 years old when I was pregnant with him, but I used to crave eating ashes. I didn't figure out until after I got pregnant with Jeremiah what those cravings were. I was lacking a lot of iron. So that even happens now. And actually that started a little while ago. That's when my mom told me about this. She had already been taking it. I'm like, I don't know what in the world is going on. Look, I don't know if Satan tried me or what. I was like, but it hadn't dawned on me. I was like, I don't know why I'm getting the craving to smoke. And I don't smoke cigarettes. And look, I'm about to say, how old is Bella? The last time I smoked weed was a little over 6 years ago. Look, and I only did that because I couldn't keep my food down and I was nauseous. Yes, it's on Amazon. Where do you get it? It's on Amazon. I get it right from there. It's $39 on Amazon, but it's a couple other places you can get, which my mom has the links, and it's like a few dollars cheaper. But I don't know. We got it from Amazon, and it's the other place, my mom, if you got the link with you, mom, put it in there. If y'all don't want to pay the $39, I think it's like the other link is like maybe like $30, $34 or something like that. But I'm familiar with Amazon and I just put everything in my Amazon cart. But I realized that I was getting a little bit deficient in my iron, so I started taking that, and literally almost before the end of the day was over that I recognized the difference, that I went. And when I say the craving was bad, I'm like, it was bad. Like, oh my God. Like, I am about to go buy a pack of cigarettes. Like I wasn't. That's a little bit exaggeration, but that's how bad it was. I'm like, so what in the world is wrong? So, but it was, I was lacking like iron and stuff. So even when you're a lot of times when people start hitting these markers in their plant-based lifestyle, they start um teetering back onto the man. This wasn't happening when I was eating meat. And I know a lot of people that go through this. And then you got people who are unlearned, and this is not medical advice. Notice the disclaimer going across the bottom. And you have some people, different nationalities, your bodies need different things based on how you were created, right? I mean, we're all humans, but melanated people need more of like amino acids. People who have less melanin, fairer brethren and sisterin, they need more protein, right? So when they're ignorant of all of these things, sometimes a lot of people go back to eating meat because, oh my gosh, my body feeling bad. Maybe this is a bad thing. I went vegan or plant-based and I started having all these issues, because you have to learn about your body and what it needs, and you have to identify what is going on, you know. And sometimes you may not be able to do it yourself. Find a really good holistic doctor or nutritionist, somebody that understands nutrition about the body, right? And the differences between the body, melanated people, heavily melanated people, less melanated people, and how the body thrives. Master herbalist Yaki is really, really good with that. So if you can't find nobody else don't have the money to go talk to or have a consultation with, go to his YouTube channel and his website, right? Yaki Awaken. Find him. He's really good with that. He has a lot of videos explaining that. And I realized that's what was happening with my body. Like I said, I'm not giving you medical advice. Go do what you know you need to do. So, but that's what it was. And so a lot of people, even though they don't want to go back to meat, they just like retreat to their comfort zone and they go eating meat to just, and it'll momentarily solve that problem, right? But now you're ingesting things that are it seems like it's correcting one thing while it's still harming you. And if you continue with that over the years, it will eventually begin to destroy your body, you know, in other ways. So yeah, that's been my problem, not getting enough protein, been feeling exhausted.
Don't eat heavy food.
I'm a find Yaki. I don't want to just start giving you stuff. I'm a find his video. I'm gonna find a few of them and I'm gonna share it with you, because there's one where he talked about less melanated people as well and what they need. So but yeah, those of y'all that are experiencing those problems, you gotta figure that part out. Bless you. So
oh my God, Mom.
Okay, my aunt takes it too. She said it actually tastes more like a thick citrus juice. That's good. That's a good way to put it. A thick citrus juice. Your problem is I'm losing way too much weight. I wish that was my problem. But listen, people who, at least from my study of different things, even people who are they're thinner than other people, once they actually get the nutrition part under control, where they really understand not just, yeah, I'm plant-based, I'm vegan now, but you still have to really pay attention to the nutrition, not just, yeah, I'm not eating flesh or dairy and stuff, I'm eating this. You really have to pay attention to the type of nutrition you're giving your body. Everybody's body is different. But once you begin to fuel your body with the proper nutrition, if you need to lose weight, your body will begin to adjust because it's getting what it needs. And if you're rapidly losing weight, once you begin getting the proper nutrition, your body will align and you will stop rapidly losing weight, and your body will go to its natural weight, what it's supposed to be for you. You know, so I've seen a lot of different studies about this. It's the nutrition part that's key. Don't just, I stop eating meat, boom, and think that's it, because it's not. Because after you've done that for a while your body's adjusting to it, it's going to begin adjusting a little bit more. And if you don't understand the true nutrition portion about it, you're going to find yourself having where everybody, they start talking about vegans where they have deficiencies. They went vegan and they died. They didn't. They just stopped eating meat and dairy and thought that was okay. No, they didn't take time to study the whole nutrition part, the different things about the body to make sure it's balanced. So they went from one end of the spectrum all the way to the other. And it's worked for a little while till you start hitting those points, you know, like me with these things that start. And when I was pregnant early on, I was the skinniest thing. I was like 125 pounds when I got pregnant with Elijah. And after I had him, I dropped all of that weight. And same thing with Jeremiah. But as I got older, the weight stuck on just a little bit more after every child. But the nutrition thing, I still had some of those same things happen. But I think now, because it's been so long since I've even had flesh in my body, I'm hitting those markers in a plant-based diet where deficiencies could happen. And even though I'm not eating meat and stuff like that, any kind of flesh foods, some of those things my body is beginning to address. Hence the whole thing with me craving like cigarette smoke. Not the smoke, it's like the actual, I don't know, it's weird. Sometimes it's crazy. Not necessarily the tobacco, but like the smell of smoke, the taste of the ashes, all of that. And then I had to check, like, wait a minute, hold on, am I pregnant? I'm like, wait a minute, my husband might have got me. He been trying. I'm like, nope, I don't think that's it. Nope. Then I realized my iron. Once I took that, all of that, and when I say it was almost unbearable, it was almost unbearable to look. So I finally had to go to my mama. And I was like, I don't know why I'm craving to smoke cigarettes. I don't know what to do at this point. But it hadn't clicked. It hadn't dawned at that point what my body was doing. It was doing the same thing that it was doing when I was pregnant with Elijah and Jeremiah and stuff. So once I addressed the issue, that whole craving to smoke and stuff went away within a day. Yeah, because I had to wait for the stuff to come in. And it came pretty quick. I think I got it in about 2 days or whatever, you know. But yeah, so be mindful of those things. Dawn said it's weird because when I drink my vegan drink, I get hungrier. Yeah, you probably need to look at some of the other stuff that's going on with your body, Dawn. Kings and Queens Coaching Group, shalom. That's been happening to me lately, Dawn. I'm vegan 35 years. Yeah, so, you know, I've been looking for a good holistic doctor around here. Either they don't have a website or I just ain't found it yet, but the closest one where they got like a lot of good reviews, I've seen up in Richmond. And I'm considering driving up there. It's like an hour drive for me. But if I can't find one close by here, especially because I'm getting older and stuff, I think I'm gonna just make that drive to Richmond, you know, because we need one for our whole family. And that's the ones that they have up there. They have like whole family practices of holistic doctors with nutrition and all of those things, you know. So, all right. My mama said, Mary Ruth is the truth. Immediate difference when you take it. Yeah, I'm a witness of that. My aunt, she takes it too. From what I heard from my mom, it's done great for her as well. Okay. All right, so let me finish this chapter. We literally had like a couple verses left. All right. Verse 19, page 124 at the bottom. But Aramaeus, evil creator of evil, went to the Drook women, speaking to them in a dark corner. He said, ye have of the root of Baal to make delirious. Fetch it to the white people that came with dove's wings. Fetch, and they will eat and get drunk. And when the young men are drunk, go ye to them, for they are my gift. They're your gift, but you got to get them drunk first. But okay. So of them that came out of the ark of Nochi was sin. Hold on. So of them that came out of the ark of Nochi, or the ark of Noah, so of them that came out of the ark of Nochi was sin newborn. For the Drooks went in when they were drunk, saying, lest the white people and the yellow people fall upon us, let our seed perish on the earth. Make us of flesh and kin, bone and bone, blood and blood. Think about what happened in Genesis with Noah and Noah getting drunk, you know, after the flood. See, all the stories, they got some similarities in them, but they're ever so slightly different, depending on what country or area you're coming from that's telling this particular creation story or the flood story. And the last verse, verse 21, her too, the Lord God saw into the darkness, and being compassionate, said, a great punishment will I visit on Aramaeus. For this his head shall droop in sorrow. But as for the Ehims, being drunk, I will forgive them. And as to the newborn people, they shall become the mightiest of all people in the whole world, because they came out of both darkness and light. The darkness in them shall battle all darkness. The light that is in them shall then master over their own darkness. But as for the droops, they shall go down in darkness forever. And that's the end of this this first chapter, and we're going to pause right here. So let's hop over here to the book of Noah. Where we at? How much time we got? Oh, sorry, son. We have 37 minutes. Okay. We'll probably just get a chance to read through this first chapter, maybe a little bit of the second. We'll see. All right, y'all. So page 253 in the Holy Megillah. Go ahead. Is that all the action was again? Okay. The book of Noah, being an account of the incarnation of Isaac as Noah and the banishment of Lucifer from this world. Chapter 1, the defilement of the earth by the seraphim. Hey, look, the Lord's 5th book. It's probably some of the same stuff. Behold, many generations had passed since the raising of the holy mount in the center of the Garden of Eden to become the center of El Cush. Yea, and many generations had passed since the ascension of the great Nazarene patriarchs and matriarchs. Lo, for many generations the Nazarenes were in dispersion, being persecuted without mercy by the Canaanites. For though Cain had long since perished in battle, his armies still ravaged the world. Yea, not only the Canaanites, but many nations of degenerated mankind waged war on the Nazarenes until the holy ones were nearly extinct. Then out of sight, due to their small numbers, the remaining Nazarenes were mostly forgotten, while the large nations waged war upon one another. Yea, much time passed. Lo, the wars became increasingly cruel and wicked, as Lucifer, with his seraphim generals, taught the people the black arts of warfare. Yea, they taught the art of making deadlier weapons and provided the means to do so. And they made giant and ferocious soldiers by mating seraphim with the daughters of man. That's an interesting take on what happened in Genesis chapter 6. And they made giant and ferocious soldiers by mating seraphim with the daughters of man. And these soldiers were birthed in glass tubes like Cain, for no human womb could birth such big babies. Interesting. I mean, because if you think about it, how many people ever really question the women who gave birth to the angels' babies? I just figured, in my mind, I'm just like, well, okay, clearly the seeds start small, but maybe they're just born regular and they grow super fast, right? They grow super big, super fast. I had thought about it, but I'm just like, yeah, that's got to be it. And they made giant and ferocious soldiers by mating seraphim with the daughters of man. And these soldiers were birthed in glass tubes like Cain, for no human womb could birth such big babies. Even Lucifer, though no longer of natural flesh, mated with a human woman. For in the time when he was still of flesh, which was long before he came to our world, he preserved his seed for this purpose, that he might seed many worlds. And his seraphim, some of a mix of flesh and metal, some entirely artificial, did likewise at his command. Lucifer mated with Lilith, a daughter of Cain, who enjoyed drinking human blood. And after Lilith is reference number 1. At the bottom, the name Lilith stems from the word Lilin. A Lilin is a demon of the night. In the case of Lilith, She was a human who became demonic, becoming the prototype vampire due to her practice of drinking human blood. It is important to note that the popular names Lily, and Lilith are not related to this ancient seraphim, Lilith word, the similarity being coincidental. All right, go back up. Verse 15, I'll read it again. Lucifer mated with Lilith, a daughter of Cain, who enjoyed drinking human blood. She was loathsome and wicked, and her son by Lucifer was named Sargon. And after Sargon is reference number 2. And 2 at the bottom says the word Sargon means firm king. The Sargon of the book of Noah was the son of Lucifer and Lilith, and was himself the father of a long line of tyrants that will continue to plague the world to the last days. This most ancient Sargon predates the biblical mainstream Bible Sargon, king of Assyria, by many centuries, but the latter Sargon may have been of the line of the former Sargon. Okay. Back up, verse 16. She was loathsome and wicked, referring to Lilith. And her son by Lucifer was named Sargon. And Sargon was evil incarnate. And with his mate Lilith, Lucifer claimed the title Elohim. So now he was the false claimant of 2 holy names, Yahweh and Elohim. Yea, he was a false god, and his queen was no goddess. And oh yeah, listen, we read ahead. We read ahead this chapter all the way back a little bit. I remember because he hated her, but he respected her evil. Listen. He was a false god, and his queen was no goddess, and he loved her not, but respected her evil, and used her and other women to create bloodlines by which he would rule this world. Yea, he made it with other women of many races, that his seed would encompass the planet. But Lilith was his first and favorite wife, and he let her kill the others after they bore him children. Like, dastardly. Lo, the children of Lucifer were many, and from his line came many of the tyrants that scourged the earth. Yea, and from his line will come many future tyrants, even unto the last days. And in various lands, Lucifer was known by many names. For behold, the people of various lands now spoke various languages. And many of the peoples had created gods and goddesses in their own image and likeness. Yea, from their own imaginations, they created deities and holy books. And so Lucifer adopted the names of the deities in each land and took over their temples and slew their priests and installed his own priests in their place. Then, keeping some of the outward observances of each religion in place, he altered enough to ensure the corruption of the people to his ways. Christianity not being set aside from it. It was also included, right? Once you become aware of some of these things, you can clearly, like, you can't unsee it when you look at the church, because some of it is blatant. I'm like, oh, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Listen, let me see. Let me go back to verse 30. Yea, from their own imaginations, they created deities and holy books. And so Lucifer adopted the names of the deities in each land and took over their temples and slew their priests and installed his own, installed his own priests in their place. Then, keeping some of the outward observances of each religion in place, he altered enough to ensure the corruption of the people to his ways. For behold, all that was needed in a religion to keep the people under his influence was to make animal and human sacrifice the central focus, which is what the Apostle Paul did, right? Ever so slightly. You got to pay attention when you read the New Testament. All of those that still read the Bible religiously, I mean, not that you shouldn't, right? But at least while you're reading it, at least really understand what's really going on. You can start at the beginning of the New Testament, right? I never say start in the middle of the book. I used to say that, but you got to go all the way to the beginning. If you start at the very beginning at Genesis, and don't read it religiously like your pastors and taught you to read it. Read it like you ain't never seen it before, ain't never heard nothing about it before, right? Understand the stories. What's is Listen, I'm getting to that. Nazarene is seen. Could that have happened with the Levitical priesthood? That is exactly what has happened with the Levitical priesthood, with the Levites of God's chosen people, of Yah's chosen people. Oh my gosh. We got 5 minutes left. So what I do, I know we're going to go just a little bit over the time, but I want to finish this whole chapter. But this is exactly what happened. It was corrupted from the very beginning. But if you're not paying attention to the details, you're going to miss it, especially if you let somebody else teach the Bible to you who's already been taught in error. When you're not taught in error, it's clear to see all the way through, from the beginning all the way to the end, right? And the human sacrifice is just a building up, a preparation for you to accept the human sacrifice, which they talked about in the Old Testament, that the animal sacrifice was not of Creator. He never once commanded that. You can, if you're paying attention, you'll notice the voice changes, the different voices changing throughout the books. It's really clear once you read through the books of the prophets multiple times. I read through it multiple times before I actually began to pick it up. And in Isaiah, you hear true God speaking at a couple times. Never have I commanded animal sacrifice. When you sacrifice a calf, a lamb, is just like you're slaughtering a dog, just kind of summing it up. But that prepared them for the human sacrifice, which all through the books of prophets, we heard true God on the throne saying it was an abomination. The righteous cannot die for the sins of the wicked, right? That's an abomination to our great Creator, because even after a righteous man dies for the sins of the wicked keep on doing what they want to do. Think about what Christians do. That's how it's so easy for them. I'm a saying today, repent later, Jesus paid it all. It causes people to push off responsibility from themselves onto another person. While they think they're avoiding hell, but they're just actually speeding up their ride to get there. And then when they get there, but wait a minute, all this in Jesus' name, bro, you pushed off responsibility to somebody that don't even walk the earth anymore. You did not take responsibility for your life, and you have to pay the repercussions, right? You have to endure the repercussions of your decisions. Just like the false gods, you screwed it up, you got to fix it, right? Listen, hold on, let's go back. Look, verse 33. For behold, let me go to 31. And so Lucifer adopted the names of the deities in each land and took over their temples and slew their priests and installed his own priests in their place. Then, keeping some of the outward observances of each religion in place, he altered enough to ensure the corruption of the people to his ways. For behold, all that was needed in a religion to keep the people under his influence was to make animal and human sacrifice the central focus. And that's what we got off when I said Apostle Paul did the same thing. Because if you listen to the words of Jesus in the New Testament, and then you begin to listen to the words of Apostle Paul, he did it ever so slightly, because he was learned, he was educated in Torah, and most people aren't. They don't really take the time to do that. He knew how to twist the words just enough that didn't seem like a twisting, and got your focus out of walking in the ways of life and light to now begin worshiping somebody who was sacrificed. It's there, plain sight, but you get the wrong teachers teaching you, and your understanding of what's happened has now been tainted. And you can't see the truth that's staring you right in the face. And like I hear a lot of people say, if it was a snake, it would have bit you. And a lot of people are getting bit by the serpent.
They're just sitting there looking stupid, like, oh.
For behold, all that was needed in a religion to keep the people under his influence was to make animal and human sacrifice the central focus. All else would follow. Sargon was the chief general of Lucifer's human armies, and Sargon was under the command of Shemikhaza, the general of Lucifer's seraphim soldiers. And after Shemikhaza is reference number 3. The name Shemikhaza means my name has been glorified. A literal translation is my name has been seen, but the implied meaning is clear. My name has been and will be seen and glorified. In other words, this is an egotistical name by which Lucifer's seraphim general boasts of his own significance and imagined greatness. Jeremiah, turn it down some. This name, as with the other seraphim leaders named in this section of the book of Noah, correlate with the names of fallen angels in the Ethiopian book of Enoch, though that is only apparent when they are translated correctly. The Ethiopian book of Enoch, it is called Ethiopian, not because it was written in Ethiopia, but because a copy was found in Ethiopia. It was written thousands of years after the Nazarene book of Enoch. The Nazarene book of Enoch was first written in Cush, the ancient land now called Ethiopia. And so the idea that the Enoch book was originally linked with Ethiopia is correct, though only in the case of the Nazarene version, apparently by a mainstream Jew who had only the vaguest awareness of the content of the original version. That vague awareness did include the notion that fallen angels had come to earth and taught human beings the black arts. That mainstream Jew wrote what is now called the Ethiopian Book of Enoch around 35 BC, while living in dispersion in the northern regions between the Caspian and Euxine seas, as proven by internal evidence within the text itself. For a complete for a complete for a complete account of the internal evidence that demonstrates when and where the so-called Ethiopian Book of Enoch was written, see pages 11, 12, and 13 of the introduction to the Richard Lawrence translation of that text. And that is actually in the back of here, but we're not going to go all the way there. I think we actually read that before when we read through here. So we're not going to read it again, but go to the back if you have your copy and just refresh yourself on it. Okay. All right, son. Love you. Drive safe. All right. So go back up to verse 35. Sargon was the chief general of Lucifer's human armies, and Sargon was under the command of Semikaza, the general of Lucifer's seraphim soldiers. Sargon taught the people to make swords of metal, helmets, breastplates, shields, and knives, and Semikaza taught cruel strategies in the making of poisons and instruments of tortures. Artif, the next in rank of the seraphim to Shemikaza, taught the mining and melting of metals. And after Artif is reference number 4. And at the bottom it says the name Artif means earth is mighty. Verse 40. Ramtael, the next in rank of the seraphim to Artif, taught the art of deforestation for lumber. And all of these angels, if you're familiar with the book of Enoch, you will remember all of their names. It gives you some of these same things inside the book of Enoch. Verse 40. Ramtael, the next in rank of the seraphim to Artif, taught the art of deforestation for lumber, and he taught how to slash and burn entire forests to make clearings for the raising of meat herds, wherefore his name means burning ashes. And his work was commended by Lucifer, who declared, the only good forest is a harvested forest. Lo, some of the arts of warfare were kept secret from the humans for fear that they might rebel against the seraphim. Wherefore, Lucifer and his generals lived on an island where they kept their most powerful weapons and means of travel. Behold, they had ships that flew in the air like birds. Some of those ships were small and carried only a few seraphim, but some, like the one that first brought the seraphim to our world, were large enough to carry many. And the large sky ships could fly amongst the stars, and the seraphim general in charge of the large sky ship was named Kokovel, which means star of God. We learn about these starships in the WASPy. Verse 51, and the name of this island was Antalya, and it has reference number 5 after, Atalia. The word Atalia means circlet. The island of Atalia may well be the ancient origin of the legend of Atlantis. You good? Okay, for what? What are you doing? Boy, bring it in. They can't even hear you upstairs. Verse 51. And the name of this island was Italia. And from Italia came many wonders and abominations. For the place of the false Yahweh was a castle of black wizardry. Yea, evil smoke circled overhead, foul and toxic to humans. Here they made small ships to fly in the sky, but behold, only the angels of Lucifer, who were the seraphim, were permitted the knowledge to fly them. And the general of the small flying ships was named Ram-El, which means thunder of God. And here is where they made their staffs like fire, like the one that killed Abdiel. And the general for the making of staffs was called Barakel, which means lightning of God. And here is where they made their poison gourds that exploded with fire. Those are grenades. And the general in charge of the making of the exploding gourds was named Zikiel, which means fireball of God. Behold, the only humans permitted on Italia were slaves, Canaanite soldiers to guard the slaves, and the wives and children of Lucifer. Even the children of Lucifer remained on the island only long enough to be trained in the dark arts. Then they were sent to various lands to do the bidding of Lucifer. The several thousand slaves were kept for their labor. Lo, the slaves were kept in ignorance and fear. Yea, they believed their masters to be gods. They had no love for their gods, but feared them. Of all the foul arts practiced on this island, the foulest of all was that called mixing. Yea, the seed of one creature was mixed with that of another, and parts of this one combined with that one, and the egg of one scripted with the essence of another. Many wicked fruits of this black art now crept the lands, defiling the mother earth. Even the weather of our world was altered. For they seeded the clouds to produce rain and withheld rains from lands they wished to punish, which we see is something that is happening in the Bible in one of the scriptures. I mentioned it before. You remember, it's talking about the millennial reign. All those who come up to worship the king, right, to worship the king on the throne, they'll get rains on their lands. And all of those that refuse to come up and worship him, right? Think about the word worship. This is a false god, right? The millennial reign, which we've been taught the opposite in Christianity, that this is God coming on earth. No, my B, because he's commanding worship. True creator never does that. And those who refuse to go up are not the enemies. Those are people like us that's speaking the truth. Absolutely will we not bow down and worship you, right? You are just like me. Listen. And so those who don't, during this millennial reign, as told in the Bible, those who refuse to come up to worship the king, they will get rains withheld from their lands, which will cause drought and famine and death and all other types of things, right? Does that sound like our loving creator, right? Who loves all, and not this tainted type of love that gets all out of balance either, right? Listen. Even the weather, verse 71, it's like a couple more verses. Well, 71 and 75 verses, it will be done. Verse 71, page 255. Even the weather of our world was altered, but they seeded the clouds to produce rain and withheld rain from lands where they wished to punish. And the general in charge of the manipulation of the weather was named Matriel, which means rain of God. And the mother earth herself shook and cried in agony for this interference in her natural cycles, threw all things out of balance. Yea, the sweating slaves, the burning forest, the hunted creatures, the hunted souls, the poisoned soil, the smoky air, the fouled waters, the praying saints, even the rocks and mountains and flowers and grasses, all cried out for liberation from Lucifer. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of chapter 1 of the book of Noah. This is really good. We're going to pick this back up tomorrow when we come back. So let's go ahead and get out of here, because we good. We at literally at an hour and 1 minute. So still make good time today. Be out of here in our hour mark. All right. 6. So I hope y'all enjoyed the reading today. It is Tuesday, May the 30th, 2023, day 44 of year 5 of reading through books, laws, and prophets. And of the 5-year consecutive day count, it is day 1423. We read the first chapter of the Lord's 5th book in Owaspy, which is on pages 122 to 124. And here in the Secret Nazarite Scroll, officially called the Holy Megillah, the Nazarene Bible of the Essene Way, we started reading the book of Noah, and we read chapter 1, which starts on page 253 and ended on page 256. So with that being said, beautiful people, Father, we thank you for understanding the difference between truth and error. Yeah. Sometimes it's not always apparent, but as we continue to grow, we become better with being able to recognize and pinpoint truth from error. And sometimes a lot of things that we used to believe was the truth, we realize it's actually error, right? And we have the we have the proof, we have the proof of it, right? But then a choice has to be made. Will we continue walking in error, what we used to think was the truth, or will we adjust it? And sometimes it's the adjusting portion that's hard for a lot of people, because it draws a line in the sand. It separates us, but not for the bad, for good. So it helps us on our path of growth, and it makes our skin just a little bit thicker, but also we get the opportunity to learn how to work and communicate to those we love in love, even though they begin to banish us and push us away, and they just write us off like we done fell off up into a cult or something, because we walk away from the way, which is really the lie. So with that being said, beautiful people, that's it for today. Nazarene is saying, got to bounce back to work today. I'll be listening in the background, family lamb. All right, well, you made that comment a while ago. All right, with that being said, you're welcome, eternal learner. Thank you for doing this reading and allowing us to share the knowledge. I enjoy y'all coming to hang out and sharing all that y'all have as well. We grow together. We need one another. All right, beautiful people, that is it. I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
But I see through you.
I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gold. I've been far away. I'm
What did you just do to me?
I pushed your astral form out of your physical form.
What's in that tea? Psilocybin? LSD?
It's just tea. With a little honey.
What just happened?
For a moment, you entered the astral dimension.
What?
A place where the soul exists apart from the body.
Why are you doing this to me?
To show you just how much you don't know. Open your eyes.
been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a cold sign.
What's happening? This isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't real, this is...
Dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a cold sign.
His heart rate is getting dangerously high.
He looks all right to me. You think that this material universe is all there is?
I don't need gravity, I need
What mysteries lie beyond the reach of your senses? Existence, mind and matter meet. Thoughts shape reality.
I don't need gravity, I just need I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't swim or sink, I just float.
Some benevolent and life-giving, filled with malice and hunger. Dark places where powers older than time and waiting.
I don't swim or sink, I just float.
Who are you? multiverse.
I don't need gravity, I just need I don't need gravity, I just need growth.
Have you seen that before in a gift shop?
I don't need gravity, I just need growth.
Teach me.
No.
Is it a quick rumble? I won't ever ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble.
Hey, y'all.